Hey guys, it's Steph from Steph-it-up to Freedom. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's snowing today. So I wanted to make a comment about the snow because last week I'm not sure if you can still see it. Last week I was so excited about it being 75 degrees and sunny and sitting outside and being able to do my first video outside. And it's October. It's less than a week later and the temperature is cold enough for it to snow. It started as a drizzle and then switched to a snow, which I think is hilarious because I was like, it's not snowing. And then I looked outside and I was like, it's very much snowing, which now it has stopped, but go figure. But it was snowing this morning pretty good. So not sure who's not ready for that. I know a lot of people aren't. I don't mind it. Everyone drive safely, please. Walk safely, whatever you're doing. But anyway, it is Monday. It is a new day. It is a brand new day. And I wanted to share some verses that really hit me hard. Our pastor shared these yesterday, and they are from the Passion Translation. So I had never heard of the Passion Translation until last year, and I love it because people have said about me in the past that I tend to be a little passionate. So I really relate to this version of the Bible because I feel like there's passion behind it. I'm not knocking any other versions of the Bible. I think they are all wonderful, but I do think that reading the Bible in a translation that is very meaningful to you can really make it come alive in a relationship type way, like what I was talking about in my last video. So God being relational to us is so important because he came to bring relationship to us. He came for us to be above the law. Jesus, that's why he sent his son to develop this relationship with us. So if we still treat God like a law and order God, then we're kind of missing the whole purpose behind why he brought his son. And salvation, of course. But he didn't just bring his son into the world, have him crucified, rise again, all the things that he did, live this perfect example, literally, for salvation. That's just the beginning. So anyway, this relationship that we get to have, this peace and freedom and love and hope and harmony that we get to live in, no matter what's going on around us. Joblessness, which is where this whole thing got started, right? No matter what's happening, no matter what's going on in your life, we can still live in relationship and in peace with God. That's one of his promises to us. So without further ado, this is a verse from Psalm that was shared yesterday by our pastor in the Passion Translation. Amazing. TPT, in case you're trying to look it up. Psalm 32, starting at verse 8. I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. That is so personal. Think of your best friend or your mentor or someone you're really close to. Maybe it's a grandparent walking with you down the street. Not like above you, looking down at you saying, you're gonna be okay, sweetie. You're doing great, sweetie. Think of them walking hand in hand with you. This is what the Lord is saying. I will stay close to you, instructing you and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. How many times have our eyes tricked us? Think of just even an optical illusion. And I'm not talking about if you're dying in the desert and you see water. That doesn't happen to the majority of us. And if it's happened to you, I sincerely apologize. But for most of us, it's more like we're driving down the road and we think we see water ahead and then we get there and there is no water. Has anyone had that experience? It's optical illusion. Our eyes are tricking us. So God is saying he's going to lead us forth with his eyes as our guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn. Talking to me. Okay. When I take you where you've not been before. Don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn when I take you where you've not been before. I have never been on this journey before. And I think whether you have a job, don't have a job, have a relationship, don't have a relationship, all the different things that could be up in the air right now, None of us, to my knowledge, have been through a pandemic before, right? None of us have navigated what it's like to have to wear a mask every day. None of us have been in this situation that we're in. Everything is new right now. Everything is new. Now, I get that history repeats itself. It even talks about that in the Bible. But for us, for our generation, it's new. So God's telling us when he's taking us where we've never been before, don't be stubborn and don't make it difficult. I don't know if that's speaking to anyone except me, but I know I've been really stubborn, especially this last month. Okay, all right, moving on. Don't make me tug you and pull you along. Just come with me. That's still God talking. Just come with him. Just walk with him. Just trust him. Okay, we're going to talk about trust. Now we're in verse 10. Psalm 32:10. So my conclusion is this. Many are the sorrows and frustrations. Sound familiar? Sound like social media every single day? Of those who don't come clean with God. He already know what you did. He knows what you're doing. He knows what you want to do. Admit it, okay? Admit it. And confess it to a friend too, a trustworthy friend. Confession frees us. We're going to get into that another time. All right. That was something God revealed to me during worship yesterday. Hey, so fun fact. Worship is a time where we are actively fighting against the enemy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but our church also taught us that worship is a weapon. So whenever you are down in the dumps and you turn on that song, our pastor talked about this yesterday too, but you turn on that song, you are actively fighting against Satan, okay? So when you are down in the dumps or feeling anxious or feeling all the things you shouldn't be feeling, starting to feel depressed, be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you turn to, because those things are either inviting in more of how you already feel, or they are pushing out the person who is trying to make you feel that way, which is the enemy. Okay, so worship is a weapon. But coming clean with God, do you guys remember the verse or think about the verse that says, if you are asking God for something and you have a grudge against your brothers or sisters, first go to your brothers and sisters, ask for forgiveness, and then come back to God? I used to not understand that, but if you have a grudge against someone or bitterness against someone, chances are, I don't know your personal life, but chances are your prayers aren't getting answered in the way that you want them to. I, based on the Bible, would highly recommend that you go to God and you talk about that situation that you don't want to talk about. So in this verse, many are the sorrows and frustrations of those who don't come clean with God. Like he already knows, but you have to admit it because it's a relationship. It's kind of like if you have a kid or maybe even a spouse or maybe even a parent or a friend who did something wrong. You know they did it, you know that they did it wrong and they just won't admit it to you, and it's so frustrating. Think about that. Think about it. In everybody's had a little kid who you can see that little 4-year-old just knocked over that thing. He's like, I didn't do it. You're like, yes, you did, Charlie, or whatever his name is, Gadget. I don't know. There's so many names out there right now. You can name your kid Pink and Purple if you want. Anyway, fun facts, the freedom that we live in, I guess, if that's a freedom. Please don't name your kid colors, but whatever. There's already a blue, so okay, I digress. But you're looking over at Charlie, we'll just go back to Charlie, and you're like, I literally saw you push over the vase, or I literally saw you pull the tail of the cat, or whatever it is, right? And he's like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. That is God with us. We're literally looking up or looking over or wherever he is, our eyes are closed. He's like, hey, remember that thing? And you're like, I didn't do that. He's like, yeah, you did. Just admit it. Just come clean about it. Just come clean about it. That's what this verse says. Okay. Just think about that. But when you trust in the Lord for forgiveness, so there's that word trust, his wrap-around love will surround you. Wrap-around love. Think of wrap-around love as the biggest, best hug, bear hug that you've ever received from somebody. The wrap-around love, it just makes you feel so safe, so secure, so loved, so protected. That is what God wants to do for you. But it says if we have to trust in the Lord for his forgiveness. So we're coming back to trusting God on our path, trusting God and not being stubborn, trusting him and taking us a way that we've never gone before, trusting him for forgiveness. That seems like the first step, but how many of us are holding on to something that we've done that we just think is unforgivable. Even if we believe that God has forgiven us, but we don't trust him for his forgiveness. It's interesting because we have to trust God that he will forgive us and trust that he has our best interest at heart. We have to just trust him, period, in order for him to lead us anywhere. Because again, if you go back to personal relationships, if you don't trust someone in a personal relationship, well then the whole relationship is toast. Ask any therapist. But you know that. We all know that. So why do we think that we can serve a God that we don't trust? And then why don't we trust him? What do we feel guilt and shame about? What are we unforgiving? What are we not forgiving our brothers and sisters for? Why do we think that that thing that we're holding on to is more important than letting it go? It's only hurting us. So unforgiveness, huge to getting your prayers answered, huge to knowing next steps for your life. Trusting God, allowing him to lead you in the way that you should go. So again, Psalm 32, 8-10, the Passion Translation, read it in a translation that is meaningful for you. But for me, this spoke to me in so many ways. And God, I don't want to be stubborn anymore. So take me in the way that you're guiding me. And you guys, if you want to be led by God and you don't know where we're going in this season, keep following this channel. We are in this journey together. I cannot wait to see where God, what he has for us, what he has for me, what he has for you, what he has for all of us. So let me know what's going on in your life. I would love to hear about it. I've already had a couple people reach out and they want to talk, and that is what life is. It's about relationship. It's about doing this together. We are brothers and sisters in Christ. And if you haven't met Christ yet, or you don't know what I'm talking about, reach out about that too. Spreading his love is literally the most important thing that we can do as believers, as people, as his children, spreading his kingdom. So I love you. Happy Monday. Happy Snowy Monday. And like, subscribe, Steph-it-up to freedom, YouTube and on Instagram. If you haven't checked out my podcast yet, I highly recommend you check out Fear versus Faith. Where is your focus? It is my favorite. I shouldn't have a favorite of my own podcast, but I do, because getting our focus on God is the most important thing we can do. So like, subscribe. Can't wait to see you again, probably tomorrow. So look forward to it. I am. Have a great day.